up to 1/3 of buy-to-let landlords may be forced to sell after failing their lender's affordability tests. As I previously covered in other videos, when you buy a property with a buy-to-let mortgage, the lenders conduct something called a stress test. And this is where they test that the rent will cover the interest payment at a rate of 125%. So in other words, if the interest payment is £100 per week, for example, then the rent needs to be 125 or more net after any expenses. Recently, over the last few months, many lenders have increased that to 141%. And as many buy-to-let landlords are finding that their fixed deals, possibly of 2 or less than 2%, are ending, they have been struck with regards to qualifying for a buy-to-let mortgage by two different problems. The firstly is the falling value of their property, and many buy-to-let landlords are mortgaged at around 75% loan to value. This is all well and good in a rising market. When property begins to fall, landlords who remortgage to buy more properties and have all their properties mortgaged at 75% loan to value during high property prices can suddenly find over a few months that their loan to value rate goes from 75% up to 85-90% or more, meaning that they won't qualify for any new deals. And those who do have a buffer in terms of loan to value often fall down on the improved, stricter stress test, which has meant that many buy-to-let landlords have deals ending at 2% or less, and they have no alternative but to go onto standard variable buy-to-let rates, which are as high as 9.5%. And currently, there doesn't really seem to be any light at the end of the tunnel. There are a few buy-to-let deals around the 5 or 6%, but they are very strict in terms of the criteria with regards to the stress test. They have very high fees, both application fees and exit fees. So add to that the possibility, which still is unclear, that within 2 years, all buy-to-let properties need to be brought up to an EPC rating of a C minimum, except for those which have existing tenants in place. But landlords would be short-sighted to not improve their properties to a C during the next couple of years anyway, for many reasons. One, because it is morally right to do so, because the better the EPC rating, the cheaper the property is to run for the tenants, and it is a warmer and healthier environment. Number two, that if this does go ahead, many landlords are going to find themselves with very unhappy tenants, as the reality of living within a property with a low EPC rating will be brought home to tenants who are living in properties with an EPC of a D or an E. F are already illegal, and trying to get all of the work done in one go when thousands of other landlords are also doing the same thing will end up costing more. In that event, I would recommend having a proper EPC consultation, not just an EPC, but to have an energy performance consultant visit your property and actually give you a report on work that will need to be done in the most cost-effective manner to bring your property up to a rating of a C. It need not be an enormous task. It need not cost the earth. For many, it may very well require additional loft insulation, possibly the replacement of your boiler, possibly some internal insulation of external walls. That's not a definite. An improvement in heating controls, TRVs on all the radiators, separate zones for upstairs and downstairs. At this point, the EPC rating only gives you credit for 2 zones, no more than that. But if you have a proper consultation, then you can work yourself out a route to improve your property stage by stage to get it up to an EPC of a C, because already there are lenders who will not give buy-to-let mortgages on properties that are a D or lower, knowing that in 2 years' time those properties may well be illegal to rent out. With regards to the financing side, if you have any questions, please feel free to forward them to me, and I will ask James, our in-house financial consultant, to respond to them in our next property financial Q&A. And that's all for now, and I'll see you in the next video.